Thank you all for being here. California has had a really big week when it comes to reducing gun violence and protecting our communities. I learned a lot at our summit. I was really impressed by some of the actions being taken by our city attorney, by our city council members, by some of our community members, and really by people across the state of California who are being creative and innovative in pushing the envelope, acknowledging the constraints that we operate under nationally in the face of a lot of advocates who will not let us protect our communities, will not let us do the right thing. So I just really appreciate all that work, and I think it shows. Our rate of gun violence in the state of California is over a third lower than the rest of the United States, and that's due to the extraordinary work that we've done over the last few decades in passing common sense gun safety legislation and enforcing that legislation and fighting to keep our communities safe. We know that these gun laws have saved the lives of more than 19,000 Californians just in the last decade, and we are continuing to drive that work forward. The governor signed 23 gun safety bills into law this week, so we are continuing to move the envelope, continue to fight the fight. And the progress we've made in California is due to the tireless work of so many, the leaders and advocates across the state that work here with us today. I'm very proud of the work we've done here in San Diego County over the last 2.5 years since I took office, tackling gun violence in our county. We took action to ban ghost guns in San Diego County. We took action to require that all firearms in our county unincorporated areas are safely stored with a trigger lock or using a container. And we've asked our county council to pursue and join lawsuits against reckless gun manufacturers who put profits over the lives of our children. So a common theme repeated throughout the summit was to continue pursuing these common sense solutions. So one action I would like the County of San Diego to do is to throw its full support behind Governor Gavin Newsom's right to safety amendment and call for a constitutional convention on gun safety. The governor's amendment is a common sense solution because it protects the Second Amendment, but also raises the federal minimum age to purchase firearms from 18 to 21, mandates universal background checks, institutes a reasonable waiting period for all gun purchases, and bars civilian purchases of assault weapons. This is so important because some of the most important work we've done in California, some of the most effective pieces of legislation that has been passed in our state and nationwide are under attack because we don't have the constitutional protections that we need to protect the lives and the rights of people in our communities. And that is why we need a constitutional amendment, so we can act to protect the lives of our children, because our rights are at risk. So in October, I'm going to be bringing a resolution for my colleagues on the San Diego County Board of Supervisors to vote to support California's pursuit of a 28th Amendment and direct our team to add this to our legislative agenda. So I challenge other counties and cities in California and across the United States to support the governor's 28th Amendment, because we need to be doing everything we can to put pressure on other states to join our move to a constitutional convention and our move towards a 28th Amendment. And I truly hope that our entire community that came down here today will be able to join us in supporting Governor Gavin Newsom in trying to challenge and transform the Constitution of our country to protect our rights in our communities and keep us safe from senseless gun violence. So I want to thank the members of our community who attended the Gun Violence Reduction Summit. I'm just so grateful for all the work that you do. I want to thank all of our panelists and know how much it meant to our community that we're here today. Attorney General Rob Bonta, Council President Pro Tem Montgomery Stepp, Senator Catherine Blakespear, San Diego City Attorney Mara Elliott, Assembly Member Chris Ward, Council Member Monty Von Wilpert, April Lassiter, founder and CEO of Open Hearts Leaders, Bishop Cornelius Bowser, founder, Shepherd Outreach, Teresa Heimer, Legislation and Advocacy Team Lead, San Diegans for Gun Violence Prevention, Colleen Cretin, Directive in Family Fire, Brady United. Dr. Heidi Kraft, PhD, Chief Clinical Officer, Psych Armor. Ari Freelick, Director, California Office of Gun Violence Prevention. Dr. Eric Rothla, Ewan, Technical Advisor, California's Office of Emergency Services. And Dr. Luke Bergman, the Director of the County of San Diego's Behavioral Health Office. So next, I would like to welcome Attorney General Rob Bonta to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here, and thank you, Supervisor Lawson-Remer, for gathering us, convening us, for hosting this conference, and bringing into one room and one place and one time activists and advocates, leaders from the city, the state, federal level, all to come together to share ideas, collaborate and partner, and plan next steps for how we're going to continue to address America's disease of gun violence. Something unique in the world, only here. And a place, fortunately, where California has been a leader in showing the way and has been a bright light in our ability to demonstrate what can be done if we follow the data and the evidence and the science, if we lead with our values and we actually take action. 30 years ago, California had one of the highest firearm mortality rates in the nation. And then we began to act, to change that course, to believe in and commit to a different future for our children and our communities and our neighborhoods, and things like universal background checks and waiting periods and red flag laws and assault weapons bans and large capacity magazine bans, all of which move the needle, none of which get the whole job done on their own, but as an aggregate and collectively move us to where we are now, a state with one of the lowest firearm mortality rates in the nation. It is because of those steps that we took. It is because of the action that we took. It is not an accident or a happenstance or just correlation. It is causal. And so there was more to do. We are still not immune from gun violence here in this state. We've had tragedies, including in Monterey Park and Half Moon Bay and other places, and we can do better, we must do better. And the way forward, the path forward, is conversations and dialogue and partnership and collaboration like today. And I believe that our constituents want us to and deserve us to be working together, sharing ideas, moving the needle wherever we are, at the City Council, at the Board of Supervisors, in the state capitol of Sacramento, in a national constitutional convention. We can make progress in all those places and all those spaces. And I was grateful earlier this week to be in Sacramento with our governor to announce the signing of an incredible package of gun safety bills that became laws and continued to cement California's reputation as the leader in this nation when it comes to enhanced gun safety. And we have a new set of legal regime, and these laws are consistent with that legal regime. They are designed to be compliant, to follow the blueprint of the U.S. Supreme Court decision of Bruin. We signed into law a concealed carry weapons regime to make sure that only people who are law-abiding can have a concealed carry weapon permit, and that these concealed carry weapons won't be brought to sensitive sites where constitutional rights are being exercised or children are present. And proud to have been a sponsor of that bill. We have an important micro-stamping bill to help make investigations and accountability easier to realize. We have an excise tax, something that I authored earlier on in my career, but wasn't able to get over the finish line, and proud to see it over the finish line this year, where revenue will be invested in data-driven, proven successful programs for violence intervention. And so that's just another down payment, another step forward in our ongoing march to address gun violence and to enhance gun safety. And so proud of California always, particularly proud this week to see what we're doing, not just in Sacramento, but across the state. And just want to give a very special shout out to San Diego, the leadership of San Diego, the courage of San Diego's elected officials, their passion, their commitment to the evidence and the data and the science, and to the safety of their communities was on full display here. You know, we know that of all the homicides in California, 75% are because of the use of a firearm. And it is the leaders in San Diego and other leaders who are committed to addressing gun violence and crimes that are the result of firearms. So I really want to appreciate San Diego and also recognize that moments like today are important when there hasn't been a tragedy that we're gathered to mourn or to react to, but the emergency, the crisis, has not alleviated, and there's more to do and more to plan for, to convene and to roll up our sleeves and continue to get to work to say we're not done until we have a complete solution and until have fully addressed gun violence. So I want to thank San Diego for the opportunity to have me here. I want to thank all the leaders that made today possible for the work you do every day, including today. And I want to now turn it over to one of San Diego's many fearless leaders, a great leader, City Council President Pro Tem Monica Montgomery Steppen.
Thank you so much to the Attorney General, Rob Bonta, for the introduction. Thank you for being here with us in San Diego and for being a true partner in fighting for safer communities here and throughout the state. I also have to thank Supervisor Terra Lawson-Remer, someone I can consider a friend and a fierce advocate for many different issues, but especially around gun violence and reducing gun violence in our community. So thank you for putting this together. I also want to thank your staff members as well for all of the logistical things that go on. It really takes a lot to bring us together, but it's worth it to talk about the breadth of work that has been done in this region around this issue. Sometimes we work in our separate silos and don't consider the impact overall. So this is really necessary to have a summit like this, and it's a really good way for us to come together. I am really just excited that we just experienced such a rich dialogue from our region's leaders about this issue and about how we approach gun violence solutions. Really, with our brainstorming, we have to continue to be honest and realistic in our plan to interrupt gun violence. We focused specifically in my panel on community and ways that we can engage community solutions and bring them into our conversations within City Hall, within this building we're in now, because that is extremely critical to providing solutions that our community members can experience and impact for our communities. I want to just take a holistic view, as I normally do around this issue. We really have to continue to have in this discussion, we have to acknowledge that there's a lack of economic opportunity in some of our communities, and while we are promoting peace, we know that it is not a quick fix to correct years of intentional disinvestment in our communities. It is very traumatic for our residents to experience violence as a victim, a witness, a bystander, a parent, a family member. It is also very scary to know that gun violence riddles our streets every single day. But I want every attendee, every community member, every person out there to know that I understand your fear. We are here to help, and we all care about the well-being of our communities, especially when it comes to gun violence. As policymakers, public safety is and must be a top priority of ours, and I believe that in order to keep our residents safe, we must work together to meet the needs of the people. The dialogue is extremely important. The conversations are extremely important. What's also extremely important is bringing real solutions to the table, because people's lives depend on what we do and the decisions that we make. This is certainly not about politicizing this effort, but about securing funding and cementing policies for initiatives that can save lives. We've done a lot of work, we continue to have a lot of work to do, but that's why this summit was so important in paving a new future, leaning into each other and creating even stronger solutions for our communities. We can lead with love in the midst of violence, and together we can achieve peace. I'm a true believer of that. And I look forward to working closely with everyone here and everyone that was a part of this summit to create a public safety ecosystem, a system of interconnected pieces that interact with one another on a daily basis. We highlight these moving pieces of the structure that we keep our communities safe and thriving. Thank you everyone for being here, and now let me introduce my friend and community advocate within mental health, April Laster, CEO, founder, and executive director of Open Heart Leaders and Heart Leaders Academy.
Thank you, Coach Monica Montgomery. Thank you, Supervisor Terra, Lawson-Remer, and thank you for being here, Attorney General Rob Bonta. I want to say this has been an honor working with Supervisor Lawson-Remer's team, just to bring awareness and bring the highlights of how gun violence affects us at a community level. As Monica stated, what happens is a lot of these laws and legislations, they get lost in translation by the time it reaches the communities that I serve. A lot of the times, a lot of these laws and a lot of these legislations, our people are ill-equipped to understand and have the intelligence or the competence of understanding what bubble they're checking in. Because at the level that they need it to be represented to them, they don't understand. Today, my panel, on panel 3, I talked about protecting our children, gun safety laws and things that represent protecting our children. I did the most, probably, I'm not a politician, I'm just a human. I tell people that. I'm not a politician, I'm just a human. But I did the human thing, and I went online and just highlighting this event today, reading some of the comments were so disheartening about the things and how we advocate for the things we want. I watched comments talk about how everybody wants to take their gun laws away, their gun rights. Well, I feel that parents in the community have a right to protect their children. And again, as I stated, I've never seen an AR-15 used to hunt a deer, because they know that that AR-15 would shred that deer to pieces. It would be no meat left to take home to eat. And if you ever had good deer meat and had it a little spicy on a biscuit, I'm sorry, I'm from the South, y'all. But it is amazing. So no, I don't want a weapon that is used for military, a military grade weapon used in a community against humans. I understand everyone has a right to protect and serve. But I come from neighborhoods where we believe in good old put your fist up, and if you lose tomorrow, buy me a lollipop and we friends again. We have to get serious about really diversifying the language and the commitment of how we are getting information out about gun laws and legislation. I am challenging most of our people in higher up in Sacramento start coming into the cities, having the communication with community members and advocates and leaders to find out the real meanings of it. So I want to thank you guys for allowing a little old me, a little human, April Laster, to speak today on behalf of a lot of my prestige colleagues. Remember, keep mental health and education in the forefront of everything to make a better solution for the city of San Diego.
Thank you all, and I'm happy to open the floor for questions if there are any.